I actually admire what Malala's courage has created in terms of fighting for this kind of cause, which is the injustice and discrimination against women. And I think that Malala is a great influencer in terms of this one. For us youths to actually use our voices to fight for a cause and to fight for those who are marginalized in our society. And we should be the voices for those people who can speak for themselves because they are being abused and discriminated by the people in their own society.
So let me just say this first. Malala is amazing and inspirational, and I know that at this point it's pretty redundant to say those things, but I mean she deserves every utterance of it. I mean at 17 she was able to get the Nobel Peace Prize, and that's not just some medal, that's the Nobel freaking prize, and the recognition, the status you get after obtaining that is amazing. I mean she deserves every bit of it, and her story is a perfect example of how engaged the youth is nowadays with issues not only just concerning terrorism but social issues in general, because with the rise of technology, with the rise of digital media, the internet and social media, information is so easy to be accessed, so easily dug upon, and for anyone curious, especially those of my age, we should be able to read up and be knowledgeable about these things happening all around us, because in the future we will be citizens of our own countries, and I think it's very important for us to know that our voice has meaning, and that we shouldn't just rely on anyone to form our own opinions. We must be able to know what is right and wrong, and we must be able to fight for what is right. And you know I think my generation is doing a good job of being aware and being active in such things, and I couldn't be more proud of that I am a part of this generation.
My role as a youth, living in the Philippines and being threatened with terrorism, is that I should be more aware, more alert, and I should be able to influence and advise my other peers, my other youth to be more open minded, more concerned about the national issues, especially those issues regarding terrorism, and let us not make jokes or terrorism jokes, memes, and social media, posting them on social media, the unnecessary commentaries and posts on social media, as those will only draw negative attention and will elicit negative responses from the public.
Hello, this is Michael Flores from LSCI1, and this is my reaction video for Malala Yousafzai and how the youth can stop terrorists and extremists' online presence. So, first of all, I am very inspired by Malala Yousafzai. She's very inspiring. I am amazed on how she was able to stand up for herself at a very scary moment. Um, the way she has been able to live the rest of her life with that experience, and was able to share her experience to the youth, to the United Nations. I mean, that's a very great honor, and to be able to inspire others and give awareness on what's been happening in the Middle East. Yeah, she's very amazing and inspirational. So, as the youth, um, there are different ways on how we can prevent these terrorist threats or their online presences. So, first of all, as youth, we must be vigilant at all times. We must know whenever these terrorists post stuff, um, we must not share those videos, because sharing those videos um, can somehow say that we're tolerating their um, videos or their acts. So we must prevent and counter extremism, and we should always promote peace. So this is actually connected to the sharing of their videos. We must not share their videos, but to spread awareness about these videos, and that we should tell other people to report or block these videos, so that their message wouldn't be heard. I mean, so yeah, so that their messages will be tolerated. And as the youth, since we are technology based, or I mean, technology is all around us, and basically the youth are the ones who use technology a lot, we must use social media to our advantage, as to yeah, spreading awareness about, yeah, these terrorists, and so this is actually connected to the sharing of their videos. We must not share their videos, but to spread awareness about these videos, and that we should tell other people to report or block these videos, so that their message wouldn't be heard. I mean, so yeah, so that their messages will be tolerated. And as the youth, since we are technology based, or I mean, technology is all around us, and basically the youth are the ones who use technology a lot, we must use social media to our advantage, as to yeah, spreading awareness about, yeah, these terrorists, and we should use social media to promote peace. For example, mm, to not tolerate violence, for um, spreading news about the issues in the Middle East, or probably spread news on how we can help people that are affected by these terrorist attacks or threats. So next is threats are an opportunity for people to unite. This is an opportunity for people to unite and help the people who have been affected by these terrorists. This is an opportunity for to fight for what is right, to fight for human rights, and to use us, the youth, to an advantage, because since we are young, we have the potential, and we have the drive, and we have the power to change the world, and change the future to a better place, for us to become peaceful, to become united. And we can also promote peace by not using violence, but especially using dialogue as our main weapon, because violence is never the answer, and we can always fix problems by using our words, through reason, to proper reason and logic. And hopefully we can somehow in the future, we can all be united, and live in peace. So yeah, thank you.
After watching that what Malala did was actually very courageous. Seeing that, who has the guts to actually take a gunshot and live through it with a smile? I think what Malala did was something revolutionizing, because it talks a lot about how the youth can affect the world's view of terrorists and such. Even though, personally for me, I think it was uh, really weird how she's able to still smile and give a positive outlook about that gunshot. For me, it's also something admirable, because not all are willing to do that and stuff. But it really emphasizes the role of the youth as an instigator or aggravator of the terrorism, especially me as a youth in the Philippines. We are slowly changing the world's concept of good and bad, and being the revolutionizer, the words that we say or the actions we do might very well change the world. So uh, I think that the youth should analyze their words carefully and their actions, because we might very well be the start of a war or the start of the world peace as we may know it.
After knowing about what Malala did, it made me really inspired to become more vocal about my thoughts and feelings regarding our country's situation, which is now being threatened by terrorists. Even though at a young age like Malala's, she was able to express and fight for the rights of their country, and she didn't do it in a violent way, and it made me realize that we can do it as well. Us Filipinos can do it, us Filipino youth can do it, and it will become it would make such a great impact on our country and how it would be fighting for its rights.
It's true that the Philippines is threatened with terrorism, and we Filipinos should be cautious and aware. Social media platforms are widely used by the youth today, and while it is an easy way to spread information, sometimes it's false. The info circulated is false or not entirely accurate. With how fast news spreads now, it is our responsibility as readers to be able to identify fake news. It is sometimes through these misunderstandings that cause further chaos and bring more harm. Personally, I have not experienced any harsh physical threats besides bomb scares in schools or in malls and public spaces. I believe that we should be prepared for whatever may come, but at the same time, we should be looking for solutions to these problems. The youth sometimes aggravates the situation because of our lack of experience and understanding. Through Malala, we are able to relate more as she is part of her generation and has become the voice for those who cannot speak for themselves. Her strength and courage inspires us youth to take a stand against injustices and to not be afraid as long as our voices are heard. It definitely won't be easy because of opposing ideas and parties, but we should focus on our goal. Malala, for instance, fights for the educational rights of women in Pakistan, and when she fought for it, she was threatened. She was even there was even an attempt to kill her. I believe that with greater sacrifice comes greater rewards, but not everyone has the courage to make these sacrifices. I, for one, am afraid of going through what Malala has gone through, but I still want to make a difference for future generations. A great start would be within myself. What am I fighting for, and why am I fighting for it? What can I do now at my age to influence my peers to help me fight against injustices? There is a long way to go in such little time with how our country is developing backwards.
Well, as a Filipino, well, they always say that the youth is the only chance or hope of this nation. But when it comes to terrorism, most of us, the youth, might be scared when the situation comes. But instead of being scared, why don't we stand for something that we believe is right? Just as what Malala did, even though her life was threatened, she still continued to fight for the thing that she believed is right. And as a youth, for me, instead of being one of those people who can stand for their own, we should be the one who will and who can influence these people and inspire them as much as Malala did. She inspired all of us with her braveness and fighting on what she believes is right.
We need to acknowledge and appreciate that we have the opportunity and to access an education that does not discriminate between gender, culture, or religious beliefs. And we should really think about our role and what we can do in society, especially since we're also plagued by terrorism and conflict, especially down south. And as the youth, we've been especially um, having such an educational background. We should be able to practice what we've learned in school, critical thinking, how to absorb knowledge, how to gather information, and how to apply that information. Um, we have this problem of fake news going around, which is trying to sow division and terror amongst us. And that is actually what terrorists want. They want us to be divided, they want us to be afraid. And as the youth, we should always keep our eyes forward and always be critical of information, always question, always seek the truth. And in order to seek the truth, we must learn how to use the truth in order to um, spread that truth to others. We have social media. We can easily spread information nowadays, especially when we're all connected through cell phones, internet. And we have such a big role to play in the future of our country. And we've just been given that opportunity through our education, which we should really make the most out of.